Let's give you some instruction on how to assemble this custom bench render ice. Okay, so you're going to grab the top. And you want to flip it over on a soft surface to where the finished side of the top is facing the floor. There's some arrows on the bottom. Just point those arrows towards you, just like this. Next, you're going to grab your top support piece. It'll look like this. There's going to be a taller edge on it. So right here's a taller edge. That's just going to face towards you, towards the front of the bench. Next, we're going to grab our end pieces. These are going to be labeled on the bottom with either an L or an R. So we've got the left side right here. I'm going to grab our silver screws in the hardware pack. These can either use a Phillips or a number 2 square bit. They'll work with either one. So we're just going to set it on the left side right here. It's going to make sure it's lined up along this front edge. Install pocket screws. If you're using a bit for your drill, just make sure it's like a longer, like a 3-inch long one like this. It's easier to put them in. Next, we'll grab our right side. Label with that R. Set it on this end. Like this. You're doing this, apply some pressure on the back side. And squeeze it on in and suck it down nice and tight. Next, there's some markings on the top, and you just want to put the corners of the bench inside those markings, just like that. Let's grab another handful of screws here. So we got 2 right here. On this end. Here. 2 more right in the middle right here. There's some little circles around where these go at. Okay, once we made it to this point, we're going to grab dividers. There'll be a bunch of different vertical dividers. I'm going to grab the one with the number 1 on the bottom. You'll notice on these dividers there's a taller notch and a shorter notch. So the taller notch is just going to go towards the front of the bench. You'll notice right here it's labeled as number 1. So we're just going to slide this right into that groove right there. Press down until it's all the way down against. We're going to feel it click in. Next, grab more screws. You're going to install 2 screws right here. Okay, next we're going to put our cubbies together. You want to grab the divider. It's labeled with the number 2 on the bottom. And again, with this taller notch right here, and then there's a shorter notch, you want to lay it flat on the floor with the taller notch on your left side. So right here's the taller notch, it's going to be on my left side. We'll grab the number 2 divider. Looks like this. You notice there's an arrow. Face that arrow towards that taller notch. That arrow will be pointing towards the left. We'll set it right here. There's a line on these dividers. I'm going to line the bottom of this piece even with that line. So the bottom of the unfinished side of the shelf will be even with that line. Next, we're going to grab a couple more screws. Make sure it's even along the front edge out here. The screws are all pre-drilled. They should kind of self-align when you have it close. Make sure it's even along that front edge though. And even with the line. Okay, and then that's how you're going to assemble all of these dividers. I already have a lot of them assembled just for sake of time in the video, but all of them will go together that same way. The big important thing is just make sure that big taller notch is on your left and the arrow is pointing left when you put the dividers on. Each divider will go with the number, or each shelf will go with the number of the divider. Okay, once you get these assembled, this one's labeled number 2. We're just going to set it right inside this notch right here. If you look over on this side, again, there's going to be a line right here for the bottom of it, even with that line. And then you're going to make sure it's even along this outside edge. It's kind of a tight area, so if you have I've kind of got a smaller compact drill here, but if you got a bigger drill, it may not work here. You may have to use a smaller screwdriver to get into this tight spot. Okay, let's get that done. We're going to go on the outside out here and do the same thing over here. These screws in. Just going to keep going down the line here. So number 3 is going to go in just like number 4. Or again, the bit size for these is either a number 2 square bit or a number 2 Phillips. I'll work with either. And the last one here, number 6. Okay, once we get to this point, we're going to grab our bottom piece. It's going to look right like this. It'll have a taller front edge. It also has some arrows that'll point towards, face them towards you. We're just going to set it in here right like this on top of those dividers. I'll line it up here. So you also notice there's that line right here. It's probably hard to see in the video, but you just want to line the bottom of that shelf and with the line. Make sure it's even along the front edge. Just install the screws. We're going to go down to the other end and do the exact same thing. Okay, let's grab another handful of screws here. So on these dividers, you're just going to go along the back side here and kind of push them forward. Make sure they're even along this front edge out here. And then I'm just going to install the screws. Most of them should kind of self-align, but if you're looking down through and you see any that are kind of back a little bit, you just might want to take them, push them forward before you install these. So make sure they're relatively centered along this line. They should kind of be self-aligned, but if they're not, make sure they- Okay, now we're going to add this little block. You notice there's like a little mark on the block. There's a little mark here. There's just an extra support block for the bottom since it's a pretty long bench. I always like to send a few extra screws. There'll be a few extra screws along in case you drop one, lose one. Okay, now we're going to go around and putting the back on. We'll grab our back pieces. If you were using a number 2 square bit, you're going to need to use a Phillips bit for these shorter back screws. Like a number 2 Phillips bit. These. Grab all of our back pieces. So the back's going to be in 4 different pieces. You find the one labeled with an R on it, and you'll just flip it and put where the label is. It's going to go down towards the top of the bench, just like this. We're going to grab these black screws, shorter black screws, and everywhere where there's a hole, just put in the screws. I'm not going to put in all of them, but you get the idea. Just put in the screws where you see the black holes, where you see the holes. And down here, same thing. This one's labeled with an L. We're just going to set the L down right in this corner. Just like this. Just install all those screws. Next we're going to grab the one that's going to be labeled as top. There's the bottom. So this one's labeled with top. So it's going to go right like this. Again, the label's going to go down against the top. Just going to make sure it's in where it's supposed to be. Install all the screws. Just install 3. Put 3 in right now. Okay, got the bottom, last piece. Go right like this. Once you have all your screws in on the back, just need to simply flip the bench over. Set up. And there you have it. Let me know if you have any questions or any problems with assembly, anything like that. Thank you.